sorry to interrupt your broadcast on Nova. This is a national emergency. Important guidelines will follow. The following message has been transmitted by request of the Union Pacific Railroad. At 10:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, an eastbound soda ash train has fully derailed at Granite Peaks, Wyoming. The covered hopper cars in 4 of the 5 boxcars were completely destroyed in the wreck, and have ignited the consist on fire. The NTSB has assumed this was just an accident. Details will be provided in the next 10 minutes. Stay tuned for further updates. Shelter-in-place warning for the Granite Peaks area. The following message has been transmitted by request from the National Park Service and the Granite Peaks Emergency Management. At around 11 p.m., thousands of 911 calls poured in the hotline and have crashed hundreds of computers down. A mandatory evacuation has been placed for the same area. Details are still scarce at this time. Stay tuned on your news outlets for further information on evacuation procedures. Stay tuned for further updates. The crash site has been evacuated due to severe explosions. Flames were reported to shoot upwards at around 1,400 to 1,800 feet into the air. Repeating again, the fire rescue personnel have all been evacuated due to severe explosions. Stay tuned for later statements by NTSB and Union Pacific officials. It is highly likely the locomotives involved in the wreck have been completely destroyed and burned down to the frame in this fiery wreck. There are still no reports of any fatalities yet, so stay calm. Stay tuned for further updates. We interrupt your news programming for this emergency message. The flames have mostly died down, but fire personnel are forbidden to enter the area. When an all clear is given, the fire rescue will extinguish the remainder of the flames. Also, NTSB agents have begun an online investigation on what actually caused the crash. There are still no reports of any casualties or fatalities yet, so stay calm. Stay tuned for later statements by NTSB officials. Stay tuned for further updates. Programming on Nova has ceased for the time being. Stay away from this area. We interrupt your news programming on Nova. This is an emergency update to the train wreck at Granite Peaks, Wyoming. The investigation has reported that a closed-angle cock valve was indeed responsible for this derailment. Also, it was confirmed that emergency brakes were not present on the train at the time of the train crash. The NTSB has made several safety modifications to prevent accidents in the future. This is not yet confirmed yet, so stay calm. Anyone in the shelter is advised to remain inside until an all clear has been given. Stay away from this area. Attention. Attention. All fire rescue personnel are now authorized to extinguish the remainder of the flames. Anyone in the shelter is advised to not open any doors or windows. You are exposing yourself to toxic smoke inhalation and carbon monoxide asphyxiation and suffocation. Tune to your stations surrounding your area while in the shelter. Tune to 12:40 a.m. on your radio for further details on this horrific disaster. All 911 lines are disconnected and out of service until repairs to the wires have been made. Again, stay tuned for further updates on your radio as the story develops. We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to deliver this emergency update statement from the NTSB and the Union Pacific Railroad. All 911 lines have been fully restored. However, an all clear has not yet been given to anyone in a shelter. Food, water, medical supplies, and a battery-powered 12:40 a.m. radio have been issued to anyone listening to urgent bulletins. Again, tune to 12:40 on your radio dial for further bulletins on this dangerously developing story. Stay away from this area, and stay tuned for further updates. We are sorry to interrupt Mr. Rogers' neighborhood on PBS. This is an emergency update to the wreck at Granite Peaks, Wyoming. The 81 freight cars, and all 3 locomotives have been totaled, and are headed for the scrap yard. The caboose is being sent to the Rawlings Locomotive and Car Shop for major repairs. Also, it was confirmed that there were no deaths or injuries aboard the train. Please stand by for later statements from the NTSB and Union Pacific Railroad. The investigation and cause will be delivered to your stations in 10 minutes. Stay tuned for further updates on your 1240 FM radio as the story develops. We interrupt your news stations on PBS. This is an emergency statement and a national emergency only on PBS. Important instructions will follow. This message has been transmitted by request of the NTSB and Union Pacific Railroad. A closed-angle cock from the air hose was confirmed as the cause of this train wreck. The conductor has since been reprimanded for poor judgment. Also, the NTSB has made immediate changes for regulations on the overland route. Also, an all-clear has been given to anyone in the shelter. Thank you for your cooperation by federal officials. We will now return to PBS for programming. This concludes operations under the emergency broadcast system.